Hello everybody, it's your boy DennyBoone88, and I'm going to be making a video on how to make PBOs today. This is for those that want to make missions for their companies or for their friends, just anyone that wants to make a small mission or in-depth mission for those around them. So first things we're going to need to do is we're going to have to find a map, which we have found here. I'm using the map of Tona, which is the Apex DLC map. Alright, so once you find you a map, look around, find you a location that you want to start your mission. Basically, this will be your starting point for your mission or any other missions you do for this map, if you just reuse the same one. Or you can, with each PBO, put a different spawn point. Basically, you're going to do the same thing as we do here. So I'm going to be using the training base up on the northwest airfield. I'm going to be using this area. So now with the location you have found, now you have to make your starting point. So you can do one or two ways. You can go to your units, and three ways of doing this. Find you infantry, and you can spawn each troop like this, or you can do this. Go to units, go to your NATO, spawn you a rifle squad, which that one's going to be merged in the building in a second. You can do this, and then not what I'm going to do. Or you can move the units to your liking, or you can do the other way that I have already pre-made, which you can download on my Steam Workshop. You can do this, or you can do this one, which you will be able to get from my Steam Workshop, which is a mission starter, which this is a RHS version. So if you want an RHS version or a NATO version, this is the NATO version, and this is the RHS version. Yes, this one has a little bit more to it, but I'm not going to be showing this one because it already has more of the stuff already on it. I'm going to be showing y'all more in depth so that y'all can make your own compositions, so you won't have to do this. So we're just going to delete all that because we don't need that. What? Why aren't you all deleting? It said delete. There you go. I'm just going to leave one of these over here for examples. So now that you have made your units, and again, whatever way you choose to do, you do your own or you do this, just make sure when you make your own, I recommend you do the unit one, like under this one, the blue 4, like rifleman or something, to where you have multiple of this people. This way you don't have to like keep going by soldier, click, soldier, click, soldier, click. So you don't have to do that. If you do happen to do that soldier, click, you want to make sure you have one as the squad leader and then everyone attached to it. If you want to know how to attach it, you hold control while holding left click while selecting a soldier and tell them what person you want them to follow, which they will follow this person now. Kind of bugs me in a sort of way. There we go. That just bugged me. Alright, so if you do it this NATO's way, everything's already preset for you. I will add more details to this later on. After this video, it will have the more updated version. So now that you have this, we're just going to hold that in the background. Now that you have your squad, we're going to attach. We have 3 branches. We have Alpha 1-1, 1-3, and 1-4. And currently 1-2 is that one over there. When you do this many, I highly recommend that if you want everyone to be their own branch, that's fine. Or if you want everyone to follow under one person command, which will be the A squad leader, just select them all together, put them together, and now you have one big unit instead of like 3 units that are going to be taking up the lobby list. So now that we have our units, now we have to set them up for players to be able to play as them. So what you would do is you can click all over them. If you want to be able to edit all of them, double click on the banner. Or if you want to just edit one of them, just click on one soldier. But for instance, we're going to be doing all of them, so we're going to select the banner. Once you select the banner, you're going to scroll down until you find Objects Control Playable. You are going to click Player. You may have a box over here. If it's grayed out, you may have a box over here that you may have to check. Just check it. But if you do not, just click Playable. You don't have to fiddle with this too much. Just leave it as it is. Once you hit OK, now you have this setup. Whereas this one is set to player. Make sure you come in here and uncheck that and just set all as playable. You don't want one to be player. Alright, so now we have our spawner, or our units. Now we need to set a respawn. So what you will do is you will come here to Systems. You will go to Multiplayer, and you will look for the one called Respawn Position. With Respawn Position, this will make it to where your units will be able to respawn on this position. So if you have more than one, that is more positions for them to spawn. But for instance, we're just going to use one. So now that you have placed a respawn position, you are going to double click and you're going to come down here to respawn position. You do not have to fiddle with the type unless you want it a respawn position to be for all vehicles, wheeled, track, helicopters, planes, and naval, but we're not going to mess with that. We're going to work with infantry. Now that you have selected infantry, you're going to go to what side, and you want to set it to the designated side that you will be having your units playing. So we are having blue 4, so we're going to select blue 4. Show to, you want it to show to everyone. Notifications, you can just leave that alone. It don't really matter. So we're going to click OK. So now we have our respawn. Now this is one thing you can do if you want. You can select put a name in here, which is when people go to respawn, they're going to be able to see the name. But like we're going to set this one as main HQ. There we go. So this one will be called main HQ. I'm going to delete those up there, just get them out of the way. Now, if you're going to be running big missions with a lot more people, I recommend you do the same process we did here. You can do it in same process by individually, or you can copy with Control-C and press Control-V. Give it a minute. Now you have more soldiers, but you now have a Alpha 1-3. So if you want them to be under one unit, do the same process with Control, left click, and drag it to that person. But we're going to have 2 units, so we're going to leave that alone. So now that we have 2 units, they will both respawn on this banner. Now these players will not be seeable when you're in the mission. They're only just going to be there for players to select. So you will not see these in game. Now that we have our respawn position and all of our players are playable, now we need to make the Zeus. So with the Zeus, he will be the one that will control the mission. He will designate what your unit will be doing in the mission. You can do this for those that you want to do Zeus missions, or you can do this as for any of you that just want to have a mission already pre-made and doesn't require a Zeus. You can do that as well, which with this process here, then your process is done in a sort of way. But those that want to do the Zeus process, I will show you here. So for those that want to do the Zeus process, we need a player to be the Zeus. So what you will do is you come up here to Objects, go to Men, and you will look. It does not matter what soldier you want. Just make one that of your choice, which we're going to use Officer, for instance. Make sure that the Zeus is not connected to any of these branches. You want him as his own branch. That way he's not with 1-1 or 1-3. You want him to be his own, which is Alpha 1-4. You can change his his call sign, as you can change it to Zeus, Game Master, whatever you prefer. It's up to you. Alright, so now that you have your player as Zeus, you're going to double click on him. You're going to do the same process. You're going to disable his player, but you're going to make him playable. Now that we have our player, we need the module. So you will go to System, you will go to cancel this, you will go to Zeus, and you will require this mode, Game Master. Make sure that you use under Zeus. Do not use under Gameplay Mode. If you use this one, it will not work. So do not use this one. Come down here, go to Zeus, go to Game Master, and then you will select it and you will place it on the map. So now this is the module that will control the Zeus, which will give you the capability of spawning and setting up your missions from inside the map. And the Zeus can fiddle with stuff that are already pre-made on the map. But if you were to restart the map, everything you put down will be back in its same place. So if he fiddles with it, it'll still be there. But what he places down will go away after the mission's restarted. So now that we have our module, we will go over here to the module. The variable name you do not have to mess with, but the owner you do. So for instance, for the Zeus, we need to give him the name of set unit. So what we will do is we will go into you, we will go down to the variable, and we will give you the name Zeus. So the module will register he is a Zeus. Now you will go down to the role description. This is for you to be able to find out what is Zeus. Now many people are going to see down the list, they're just going to see what this says, officer. They're not going to know this is the Zeus at all. So recommend when you make him, you double click on him, scroll down to role description. For instance, we put Game Master. So I'm going to put Game Master here. Now, this is the Game Master, which in the leaderboard, or well, in the player board, player selection, there we go, people are going to see Game Master, which he will be at the very bottom. Now, you can, in a sort of way, move him up to where he'll be higher up on the list, but I'm not going to fiddle with that because, well, don't feel like it, but whatever. Basically, if you want him to be on top, either edit his name or put him to be the first one to be put down, one or two. Or y'all can look up another video on how to do this, but I'm not going to fiddle with that. I like him on the bottom. So, now that we've given him the variable name of Zeus, now we need to connect him to the module. So go to the module, you will go to the owner, and we will put the same exact name, not capitalized, same exact name as him. Now, if you put any type of mistype, it's not going to register him. It has to be the exact same from the unit to the module. Now that we have our proper Zeus down, he will be the one who controls mission. You can choose to put him in the same spot as everyone else, but when he spawns in, he will spawn in the same exact location as everyone else. Now, as a Zeus, I will warn you, if you are in a mission or you're not in your character and you're out Zeusing, make sure you do not die while in Zeus. If you do, you will have to relog. You will have to exit the server or mission, and you'll have to come back. Respawning will not work because you will respawn, but you won't be able to select nothing. So be aware of that. Now that we have your Zeus, your player models, you're now halfway done. Now we need your unit's arsenal, where your men will go to rearm, or as in change their loadouts, which is, we'll use this box for reference. We'll make a duplicate of this, which you will go for a box of this. You will go to objects, you will go to props, and you can type in supply. Oh, typed it wrong. Supply, and you will get all these boxes to choose from. I don't want already a pre-made box. I'm just going to look up box. You can do it that way, or you can type in box, scroll down to the box of your liking, which we're going to be using we're going to use this one for instance. Now that you have your box, you have two ways you can do this. You can have one, which you can double click once it loads up. You don't have to mess with the variable name or the role description. You don't have to mess with this. Now there's two ways you can do this. You can do it down here to a equipment storage. You can come here and you can manually put whatever you in here. You can clear it by hitting this clear button, which then it will delete everything in this box and it will empty it. And you can, once you select, you can put how many items you want in here, what magazines and all that, which will take you forever. So I recommend you just do it one of these ways. Or if you want units to only have restriction to only weapons, you can put them in here and make them unlimited, which for instance, we're going to just find a gun. There we go. Here we go. The G36C, which is a modded version or a mod weapon. But for instance, you would come here and, well, if you hit the negative, or well, supposed to make this unlimited, which is odd. Okay, well, it's technically supposed to be a way to make that unlimited, but whatever. You know what I mean. You can just put how many you want in there. Usually if you're supposed to hit unlimited, it's supposed to limit it, but whatever. You can put them in here manually about how much you want, or you can come down here where it says arsenal, which you will add an arsenal with all the items into the object by checking this box. Once you hit OK, it's going to make this box a arsenal. Now with the mod Ace plus Zeus enhanced, you will have another version, which this one is basically almost the same as this, which within this crate, if you go into it, we have a program. This is a command within the game or in the map, which will register this, which is called the Ace Arsenal function. What it will basically do is it will make this into a much better version of this. So you have a much better arsenal here. Now I will put this command in the description down below for you to use for much easier purpose. Now we're going to just delete this one and we're going to put this one over to the side. This is the one we want. So now that we have your arsenal, we have your respawns, and we have your game mode. We are halfway there. So another thing that I will go over is if you want to give your individual units a name for each specific thing, if you want to edit it, is you go into the, well, not there. You will double click on the unit and you will go to role description. Now, if you change this name, like as the Zeus, it will show what it will be in the list instead of it saying team leader, squad leader, rifleman, AT, whatever. If you just put anything in here, it will put that as the name in your multiplayer list. So just be aware of that. If you want to do that, you're welcome to it. Now that we're done with this, we have to now mess with the server itself. Now that we have these modules, they're not fully functional yet. So you will come up here to attributes, you will go to multiplayer, and you will come up here where it says game type. Highly recommend that you keep it on undefined game mode. If you put it on Zeus, it will not work. The game mode just does not register this. Unknown, but it just don't like it. It doesn't register the player slots or anything like that. So I recommend you keep it as undefined game mode. Keep it as that. Now the minimum player, you can set this as the minimum amount of people that are required, which is basically how many people are required in order for this mission to start. You can keep that as 0. Max amount, which is the max amount of players allowed. So how many out of all these, but the server is going to register how many spots you have here based on the amount of NPCs, or as player models. It will set the amount of players that is allowed. Now that you have that, I recommend you keep that as 0. The summary, which is basically the summary of your mission. Whatever you type here will just, as it shows in the top left top left corner, it's going to show the map. It's going to show the summary of your mission, basically giving them a description of what's going on. Now you have this enable AI. This is a feature that if you do not turn off, these models that you see here will be there, which the NPCs will be controlling. So recommend you come over here and uncheck this box. If you forget to check this box, it's not a big deal. When you load up your map, you're going to see at the bottom, which is going to say disable AI. It is only available to the owner of the map or anyone that's logged in admin. If you are not, no one can disable this button. Only the person that made the map can do it, or the server, for instance. So uncheck this box. Now, this is with the respawn module here. You will go to the respawn position, currently disabled. You will click on it and you will click respawn on custom position. What this will do is this will give the players a location for them to select. It will not have them select it. It'll let them select what position they want instead of forcing them somewhere. After you select the custom position, you will come here and you will select respawn position, which will give the people the ability to select it to their liking. The select loadout, you do not need to check this. Leave this alone. If you want to make it much harder, mission fails when everyone dies. You can have that on if you want. But for those that want to make missions and their Zeus to keep the mission going, have that unchecked. So we have that checked. We have a respawn position. We have our custom position. Now we need the respawn delay. You can choose to do this if you want, which is basically after they die, they have so much time before they can select the respawn position again. We like to keep it at least 15 seconds, which is enough time after you die that does the countdown, and then you go to select your position, which is not too long and not unbearable. The vehicle respawn delay is the same process as we do here, although it doesn't require you to select respawn position. All it requires is for you to select a vehicle, select it to a module, and it will respawn on that module. But we're not going to mess with it today. Now that you have selected your position and you've selected all this, we are halfway done. So scroll down here, we will go to the revive. Now, if you use Ace Medical or if you just use the normal game mode, this is what controls what people can revive. If you have this disabled, when you die immediately and you come to respawn. But if you want those to be able to be revived again, come here to revive, click enabled for all players, which everyone will be allowed. Or you can do this, but we're going to do everyone. After you select enable for all, you're going to go to the trait and you're going to select medic if you want only medics. If you do not, which you want anyone to revive, do none. The required items, which is what people are required to have in order to revive, you can have it to where they only need a med kit, or they can have a first aid kit and med kit. Recommend those that put it for both. Now, you can go into depth of messing with this stuff if you want, but where it is perfectly fine. So what you will do is after you've done this, you'll double check over your work, make sure everything's to your liking. After you're done, you will go to hit OK. Now that we have set up our respawn positions, our Zeus, now it's time to make sure that the Zeus works. So you will come up here to play, go to play in multiplayer, and you will go to run the server. Once you click that, give it a minute to load your players, and here's your players. Now, as of Alpha 1.1, you can see all the players, Alpha 1.2, and then if you scroll down, which is Alpha 1.3, you will see Game Master. Now, you can change Alpha 1.3 to Zeus if you want. That way, it kind of lets people know. But we're just going to come here and we're going to hit OK. Once this loads, it will let me hit close. Now, you won't have to worry about this is if you run the mod which I'm running here, which is the blast core, you won't have to worry about this. Once you load in, you will hit continue, and now you will see that we have the respawn position main HQ. So now anyone can respawn anywhere they want. Well, as long as there's one of these respawns. And they can select it from down here, how many teammates, unlimited lives. You can fiddle with this if you want, but for those that just want to make it in a sort of way for unlimited respawns, you don't want to fiddle with that. So we're going to hit respawn, and now we are in. We're not going to worry about the TeamSpeak thing in the bottom right corner. Now that you're in, now it's time for us to see if the Zeus module works, which it should. So if you now load in, and if you hit Y, now we are in Zeus. As a Zeus, you can, as I said, spawn things in. So you only have but so much to do as a Zeus compared to as an editor. An editor has more modules, more stuff up here to fiddle with than a Zeus can. But you can do almost the same things, but as a Zeus, this is, again, main game. You can play down respawns, which will show up here. Now, you cannot fiddle with the name at all. Whatever the name is, that's it. People are just going to have to know what is a respawn for where. So, and you cannot move your respawn. It's a permanent position. If you want to make it, if you want to move it, you have to delete it, and then you have to place it down again. Now, blue 4 will only work for blue civilians. This will only work for those designated colors. It will not work for any other. Whereas if you did it in the editor way, you can make it where it's for everyone entirely. But we're not going to do that. So, now that you have gone in and made sure your Zeus works, now let's go to check the arsenal. Now, if you do the command way, again, you're only going to see what's in it, which you can clear it from doing the command way, or, well, going into it. Or, as in the command way, if we use ace, which it's with, it'll come down here, and you will have the arsenal, which now every weapon is already unlimited. Which every player will be able to select whatever mods or mod weapons or any of that stuff that you have in your server, they will be able to select. So we're going to close that. Now that we have gone in and tested and made sure our Zeus works, now it's time to make sure our respawn already works, which we spawn in. So now that we're done there, now you click abort and you go back to your editor. Go back. Now it's time to finish off your mission. Now at this point, you can go around and build your mission however you like, wherever you want it. Build your enemies, all that type of stuff. Once you get done with there, once you built your mission, now it's time to finish off your PBO for either your mission or just for you and your friends to play. So we will go up here to scenario. Now, if you want to mess with the environment, you can mess with it here. Or if you want to mess with, oh, not this. Performance, you don't really have to fiddle with this. Just leave it as it is. Come up here to, well, before I get to that, if you don't want to rebuild all this for all your maps, for instance, if you don't want to go through all this process that you did of linking and setting up your respawn and all this. Now, to do the attribute way of the respawn, you will still have to do that. But as for this, you won't have to do again. You can select all the units and you can right click, come down here to where you see save custom composition, click, and you can either set up over what you already have or remake, which I'm going to set it over as my NATO, as my NATO is an old version, and this will be a one that will be uploaded to y'all. So all you do is set it what category you want, what the author is, obviously you or whoever it is. Go to what you want the title to be, and NATO, we're going to name it as NATO Starters. There you go, NATO's. I don't know what. Yep, we're going to overwrite it. Now that we have done that, we're going to disable that. There you go. Now that we have under our composition, if you don't remember how to get there, you will go to F2, go to custom, and it will be right here. Which if you download my version, it will be right here. Which now it will spawn everything you have. Now you can choose to add another box if you want, or you can just run with the one box. It's whatever you want to do. Yep. Yeah. Won't delete. Being stubborn. Go figure. Yes, I'm aware. Thank you. And delete that. Alright, so you can do the same process if you want to have two Zeuses, but the Zeus can promote another player to a Zeus if you want. You can do the same process, make another module, another player, and put them on the other side, and you'll have the same process. Now that we're done and our mission is all set up, you will come up here to scenario. You will go to export, and you will go to export as a multiplayer. This will make it to where it's for everyone that joins you. Single player is just for you. Which if you export it to multiplayer, it will send a PBO to your files, which will allow you to let it as a anyone can play your mission, basically. So all you do is you click there, click export to multiplayer, and then done. Now it's exported to multiplayer. Now, if you want it to have a name, a specific name, I recommend you come up here, go to save as, go to MP mission, which is where it will be, and give it the name you want. Which for me, I put Zeus as everything in front of it. Do note that you do not want to put a space between the words. Make sure you put a underscore. If you do this, it will prevent any spaces you put in the name. It's going to put 20%, which is in the name. And there's no way to get rid of it, which is annoying. So recommend you do these underscores between your spaces. Yeah, it's a lot more underscores, but it's easier. Otherwise, you have all these missions like temp mission, temp mission, temp mission. You're just going to have these as all your missions, which just note, it's annoying. So, same process. If you want it to have a name, go to MP mission, put the name you want, click save, click export, and it's going to have that name as whatever your export is. So you'll be able to easily find it. Alright. Other than that, that is how you set up a PBO. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and liked what I have showed you. Hopefully this was helpful for y'all as much as it was for me learning from the start. So, if you liked this video, make sure to hit that like and subscribe for more content like this, and come check us out when we do our live streams. Just heads up, I will have my composition down in the description down below, so you can reuse this, or you can reuse my RHS version, or go ahead and build your own. Take this and make it your own. Feel free. This is just a starter. So, again, hope y'all enjoyed, and I will catch y'all in the next video. Peace.
All my friends, we like Beamers, we like Benz. 10 times 10, all my friends, this for real, till the end. Numbers on my phone, they keep calling me. Girlies at my shows, why they all on me? I don't want them, no, get them all off me. Say that for L, she a cause of scene. 4 cars deep, we'll come through on a late night. Chicken spot, wings and fries, we call that a day night. Lights on, so out, I don't have no stage fright. Knew that I was built for this forever, ever, ever. 10 times 10, all my friends, we ride Beamers, we ride Benz. 10 times 10, all my friends, this for real, till the end.